Hi, first grade. I'm coming to you from my kitchen where I'll be teaching you a math lesson today. I really wish we were able to be in school right now so that we could do a math lesson together and I could talk to you and you could raise your hand, but it's just not how things are going right now. So instead we'll do it this way. Before we get started, you are going to need to pause the video and grab a couple supplies. So let me tell you what you'll need. First of all, you will need some sort of notebook or stack of paper. We are going to be answering questions together, so I want you to have a place to write down all the things that you are learning. So a notebook is great because you can keep all of your things for math in one spot. If you don't have a notebook, that's okay too. Just get a stack of paper, grab a stapler, staple it in the corner, and now you have your own place where you'll be able to keep all of the things that you've recorded from Unit 7. Another thing that you will need to get is your math journal. We're going to be doing a page together in our math journal today, so you'll need to have that nearby. The last thing you'll need is a pencil to write with. I'm going to be using a marker today because it'll be a lot easier for you to see that, but you will want a pencil just in case you make a mistake. So please pause the video and go get those things right now, and then we'll get started. Okay, you have all your supplies? Awesome. We are going to start with a math warm-up. So I have 3 questions that I'm going to ask you. Your job will be to write down the number sentences. Today we're using number sentences in your notebook or your stack of paper or wherever you're writing your things for math, and answer the questions that I am asking you. So our first question is this. Charlotte read 14 books this year. Her sister read 5 books. How many books did Charlotte and her sister read in all? So Charlotte read 14 books. Her sister read 5 books. How many books did Charlotte and her sister read in all? Hopefully you were able to write a number sentence that looked like this, and I'm not going to give you the answer, but hopefully you are able to add 14 plus 5 to figure out how many books. Now remember, when we do a story problem like this, what I just read to you was a story problem, you need to label your answer. So 14 plus 5 equals something, and then you'll need to label your answer with the unit. Remember the thing that Charlotte and her sister were reading? They were reading books. So I expect you to write how many books they were reading all together. All right, next question. Noah has 66 pennies in his piggy bank. His dad gives him 20 more pennies. How many pennies does he have now? Wow, that's a much bigger story problem, right? So I hope you were able to write down a number sentence. If not, I will read it to you again. Noah has 66 pennies in his piggy bank. His dad gives him 20 more pennies. How many pennies does he have now? Your number sentence should look like this: 66 plus 20. Now, how do we figure that out? Well, it's a lot easier to figure out if you have a number grid, which you do. You have your math journal nearby, and you know that in the very back of that math journal, you will find a number grid or a hundreds chart, and that can help you to add the numbers together. First, find 66. Then, can you add 20 using only 2 hops? 10, 20. 2 hops up and down on the number grid means you are counting by tens. And if you do 2 hops, you are counting to 20. So remember, you needed to add 66 plus 20. And what was that thing that Noah and his dad had? They had pennies. So you'll need to label your answer with a unit. The unit is pennies. All right, last question. A teacher has 25 red pens and 13 blue pens. How many pens does he have in all? Let's hear that again. A teacher has 25 red pens and 13 blue pens. How many pens does he have in all? Now remember, I expect you to label your answer. And what was the thing that this teacher had? It was pens. So 25 plus 13 equals, and then your label would be pens. Now remember, this will be a lot easier if you use your number grid. So go ahead and flip to that number grid. I'm not going to tell you the answer. You'll get to figure this out. Maybe pause this video while you're trying to figure out the answer. All right, moving on to the next part of our lesson, which is where I am going to be teaching you about fact families. Now this is going to be fun because we actually started fact families back when we were in school, before school got closed. You've been doing fact families in your homework. You did them a little bit in your home links, and then you did in your math packet that I sent home for this school closure. You've been doing 2 pages of fact families. So you probably already know a lot about fact families. Today, we are going to be using a domino to introduce fact families. Look at this domino right here. You can see that there are actually 3 numbers on this domino. The first number is 6. That's on one side of the domino. The second number is 4. That's on the other side of the domino. Where's the third number? That number happens when you count all of these dots together. Now you should still have your notebook or your stack of paper in front of you. Will you please draw this domino right now on your paper? So you're going to draw a rectangle and cut it down the middle. When I say cut it, I mean draw a line down the middle. And then you're going to put 6 dots on one side and 4 dots on the other side. Now, like we said, there are actually 3 numbers on that domino. Let's write down the 3 numbers that we see. So we're gonna write down the number 6, and then a 4, and then if you count all of those dots together, you get 10. 6 plus 4 is 10, right? So here we have 3 numbers that are on that domino. Can you hear my dog barking? She thinks there's someone at the door, but there's not. Now you know that we can use a domino to write 4 number sentences. We've done this before. So can you use those 3 numbers, 6, 4, and 10, to write 2 addition and 2 subtraction sentences in your notebook? Let's see. If I'm writing 2 addition sentences, that means something plus something equals something. I can only use the numbers that I saw on that domino, which were 4 and 6 and 10. Now, if I want to make subtraction sentences, I have to make sure that they make sense. We talked about this a lot before we had to leave school. So hopefully you were able to come up with 4 number sentences. 2 addition sentences would be 6 plus 4 equals 10. 4 plus 6 equals 10. Notice that they have the same sum. The sum is what they add up to be. They both add up to be 10. They have the same sum. But then the subtraction sentences are a little bit harder because we often want to write something like 4 minus 10 equals 6, or something like that. If I use those three numbers, that's what I'm supposed to do, right? I'm supposed to use those three numbers. But I have to make sure that that number sentence makes sense. If I start with 4 and I say, okay, 4, take away 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I don't have any more fingers left. I can't take away 10 from 4. 4 take away 10 does not equal 6. It's less than 0. So I have to make sure that whatever subtraction sentences I write actually make sense. And I'm going to show you a trick for that here in just a second. So you came up with 2 addition sentences and 2 subtraction sentences. Hopefully you notice that your 2 subtraction sentences start with the biggest number you have, which is 10. They have to start that way in order to make sense. Okay, let me show you another way that I have to do this, to make fact families, that I think makes it really easy. I showed you this fact family house a while ago, and in this house, I like to pretend that these numbers live together as a family. So I might use those same numbers that we just used on that domino, the 4 and the 6 and the 10, and I put them up here in the roof to show that all 3 of these numbers live together in this house. They're all a family. Now remember, I told you a long time ago that in a fact family, there are 3 different kinds of numbers. I like to call them the dad number, the mom number, and the baby number. The dad number is always going to be the biggest number, and that's important to remember because when it comes time to write subtraction facts, we need to know what is the biggest number. Okay, I'm just going to write those facts all over again. So we had 6 plus 4 equals 10. 4 plus 6 equals 10. And then we had to write the subtraction sentences, and we noticed that the subtraction sentences start with the biggest number down here. I like to tell kids that your subtraction sentences always have to start with the dad number, the big number. That's a good way to remember it. If these numbers are all in a family, the biggest one is always going to go at the end and at the beginning. Do you see how I put a rectangle around these? The big number, the dad number, is always going to be the sum, which is what the 2 addition sentences equal. And it's always going to be the first number here because you have to start out your subtraction sentence with the biggest number or it's not going to make sense. Okay, let's try another fact family in our notebook, and then we're going to try a fact family that has a missing number. So in your notebook, can you please write a fact family for the numbers 2, 3, and 5? Now, if you want to draw a house like I have on my paper, you can go right ahead. But we are going to do 2, 3, and 5 as our numbers. If you want to draw a house, you can do that. You don't have to. So when we do a fact family, we have 2 addition sentences and 2 subtraction sentences. You're only using those 3 numbers that you put in the roof, or the 3 numbers that I gave you, the 2, the 3, and the 5. Those are the only numbers you can use. Now remember that in a fact family, there's a mom number, a baby number, and a dad number. One of the numbers is always going to be bigger than the rest of them. It's important that you put the biggest number as the sum of your addition sentences and as the first number in your subtraction sentences. I made a little mistake here, don't mind that. So your 4 number sentences should look just like this. All right, let's say that I have a tricky subtraction sentence that I need to solve. We're going to use a fact family to help us solve this number sentence. So let's say I have a number sentence like this: 8 minus 5 equals, and I just don't know the answer. I can use a subtraction sentence. I can use an addition sentence to help me solve the subtraction sentence that I don't know how to solve. If I'm saying I don't know 8 minus 5, I can think about a fact family, and in a fact family there's always 3 numbers, so I'm trying to find that missing number. I have the 8 and I have the 5. What would that missing number be? Well, I can use addition to help me solve this. So I could say 5 plus something equals 8. 5 plus something equals 8. There's a missing number there, but maybe I just like addition better than subtraction, and it's easier for me to solve this using an addition sentence. Well, if I'm trying to figure out this missing number, I might say, I know I have 5 and I need to get up to 8. So I'm going to keep counting until I get to 8. So if I have 5, then I'd say 6, 7, 8. How many fingers did I put up or add to that? It was 3, right? So I had 5. I counted up until I got to 8. And I said, well, 5 plus 3 equals 8. So now I know my missing number is 3. 5 plus 3 equals 8. I could also say 8 minus 5 equals 3, because I know that now. That is part of why we have fact families, is so that they can help us solve other number sentences that we're not sure about. The way we just did this, we solved this problem, was that we used addition to help us solve subtraction. So we're going to call that the think addition strategy. Think addition, because we were thinking about adding to help us solve subtracting. Let's try another one. I have to flip to the next page in my book because I'm running out of space. If you need to do the same thing, that's fine. All right, let's say we have the number sentence 11 minus 7 equals, if you want to write this down in your book, you certainly can. 11 minus 7 equals. I don't know what 11 minus 7 equals. Now, I could figure it out by counting back. That would be a great strategy for solving this problem. The strategy that I'm teaching you today is thinking addition, because we're learning about fact families and we know that addition and subtraction are related. So we're going to solve this by thinking addition. The last time I did this, I took the smaller number and I used it as one of the add-ins in an addition sentence. So the smaller number is 7. I put that as one of the add-ins in my addition sentence. I don't know the other add-in because I don't know what the other smaller number would be. Like in a fact family, if I think about it this way, in my house, I have the big number, which I know because it came first in that subtraction sentence. And I have one of the smaller numbers, but I don't know the other smaller number. So I'm trying to figure that out. So I said 7 plus something equals 11. Okay, last time I did this, I used my fingers to count. So I could either use my fingers, a number line, a number grid, I could use counters, whatever I have nearby. I like to use my fingers. So if I'm starting at 7 and then counting up until I get to 11, I'm going to find that missing number. I don't have 11 fingers, so I can't hold up that many fingers when I'm counting up, but I can say 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh look, I got to 11 by holding up some fingers. How many fingers did I have to hold up to get to 11 from 7? I had to hold up 4 fingers. So that must mean my missing number is 4. 7 plus 4 equals 11. That must also mean that 11 minus 7 equals 4. And it must also mean that my missing number in my house, my fact family house, would be 4. Addition and subtraction are related, and we use the think addition strategy to help us solve this subtraction problem. Now, I told you we would be doing a page in our math journal. So will you please get out your math journal and open up to page 134. That's 134. And it's going to look like this. 134. I'll wait while you turn to that page. And the fact or the math journal page that we're doing today is all about fact families, and we're using dominoes to help us solve these fact families. So on that first fact family, we see 3 numbers on that domino. We see a 3 and a 5, and then what's the last number? 3 plus 5 is, you figure that out. So first we have to write down the 3 numbers that were in that fact family, right? That were on that domino. 3 numbers are 3, 5, and 8. Now we can write 4 number sentences. We can write 2 addition sentences and 2 subtraction sentences. I'm going to let you do that right now. Go ahead and fill in those addition and subtraction sentences. Now, I hope that you picked out the dad number, the biggest number, and that you used that as your sum at the end of the 2 addition sentences. And you should have used it as the first number at the beginning of your subtraction sentences. All right, on the next domino, we have a double. Ooh, doubles are so fun because you see the same number twice, but there are still 3 numbers on that domino. So the numbers are 3 and 3, and then if you add 3 and 3 together, you get 6. So we still have 3 numbers on the domino, but we can't really make 4 number sentences with those numbers. You could, it's just that 2 of them would be the same exact number sentence. So when we write the answers for this one down, you can see they only give us 2 lines, 1 for an addition sentence and 1 for a subtraction sentence. Let's fill those in right now. The 3 numbers I had were 3 and 3 and 6. I still have to use the biggest number, the dad number, as the first number in my subtraction sentence. So the biggest number is still going to be the sum here and the first number here. I have to pay attention to which number is biggest. All right, I'm going to let you do numbers 3 and 4 right now on your own. If you need to pause the video so you have enough time to do that, please go ahead and pause the video. Work on numbers 3 and 4 all by yourself. All right, hopefully you have gotten to number 5 by now. And number 5 says, Abby covers one side of a domino. You can only see 4 dots. She says that the total for the domino is 9. Complete the fact family. Now we have been preparing for this, right? We are going to use the think addition strategy to help us solve this problem. So if I know that one of the numbers is 4, and Abby says that the biggest number is 9, she's telling us the biggest number is going to be 9. That means this missing number in the middle can't be bigger than 9, because she told us the biggest number is 9. So how can we think addition to help us solve this? Well, we see an addition problem right here that has a missing addend, right? A missing number there in the middle. I know that I can take 4 on my fingers and I can count up until I get to 9, and then that will be my missing number. So here we go. I have 4. I can say 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got to 9. I'm gonna stop there. How many fingers did I put up when I was counting? 5. I said 4 and 5 more equals 9. Therefore, I can write down that 5 in the missing number spots, and I can complete the fact family because I have all 3 numbers now. One of the number sentences in the fact family is this one, so that's why you only have 3 more lines. Go ahead and complete the fact family right now. Now, I hope that you remembered to put the big number as the sum of the addition sentence and at the beginning of the subtraction sentences, I should say. Number 6 says, Juan does not know the answer to 12 minus 6. What addition fact could he use to help him find the answer? Another think addition problem. We know that Juan needs help solving 12 minus 6. We know that 12 is the dad number or the big number because it's at the beginning of that subtraction sentence. So that must mean when I think addition, I won't know one of the addends, one of the numbers that we're adding. So he can use the number sentence 6, because that's one of the numbers here, one of the smaller numbers, plus something equals 12. We know 12 is the biggest number, so we have to put it at the end of our addition sentence. 6 plus what equals 12? Maybe you already know that. Maybe you don't have to use your fingers to count that out. I'm going to use my fingers to find that missing number. If I have 6 and I'm trying to get to 12, well, I don't have 12 fingers, so I can't use all those. I can't use my, I can't put up 6 fingers and then add more fingers to it to get to 12. So what I'll do is put up 2 fists and I'll say 6, and then I'll count until I get to 12. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many fingers did I put up when I started at 6 and I counted up to 12? I put up 6 more fingers. That's a double, right? So we used 6 plus 6 equals 12. The other addend that was missing for this think addition problem is 6. Now, you are going to write down how you solved that problem. And you know what you did? You were using the think addition strategy. So when it says, what addition fact could he use to help him find an answer? Well, you already wrote that down. Then it says, explain. What strategy did you use just now with me to help you solve that? You used think addition. So write that down right now to explain what strategy you used to help solve that problem. All right, if you have time today, you are going to do the next page in our math journal, which is page 136. It's about subtracting tens. All you have to do is say, well, there are 5 tens here, and they took away 3. How many tens are left? And if it's 2 tens, what would that number be? This page should not take you very long. If you don't have time to do it today, then maybe you can do it tomorrow. But you are going to do page 136 at home, on your own, and you can ask your parents for help if you need it. I'll be back tomorrow where we'll be doing lesson 7-2, where we will be learning all about fact triangles, which is just another form of fact families. So have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.